So I've been holding out on you guys, and I've been hiding some. Like, I guess I really haven't been hiding it. You know, I'm a gamer. You guys know this because I've already talked about how gaming is going to be coming to this channel. I have yet to decide what game I'm going to be premiering on this channel, but I do have a PS5, and a lot of people would say like, okay, yeah, you probably just have the basic PS5, but that's where you're wrong because right here is my PS5. Now, this is a limited edition Spider-Man 2, Marvel Spider-Man 2 PS5. When I saw that they had announced this, I sent a message to Kildare, my best friend, and we were like, dude, like this thing looks amazing. And we both agreed that it just looks so gorgeous. You can probably tell, because you see me blowing in it. I have a dog, as you guys are aware, and he sheds a lot. He sheds a ton. And unfortunately, his fur gets everywhere. So let's talk about the few different aspects of this PS5 that I really thoroughly enjoy. Now, right here, this is a stand that came in the box. Like, the box is really cool. I'll show you guys sometime what the box looks like. I may even put like a picture of it like somewhere up here so you guys can see what the box looks like. It was very impressive. Now, so this is the stand. It came with it for free. It came in the box. And this is the screw that you use to put in to keep the stand locked in. And a lot of people are thinking in their minds like, well, what's the difference between that PS5 and the one that I have? Well, this one was very expensive. When I first decided that I wanted to get it, I saw the online promos for it, and I thought that's the PS5 I want to get. Like, I had already planned on getting a PS5, but I saw this one, and I thought, this is the one I want to have. And so I paid close to $800 for all of this, because it came with this, it came with the stand, it came with the charging cord that every PS5 comes with, obviously, because you want to be able to charge your controllers. And I love the color scheme of the controller because it matches the system itself. This thing is very nice. It's very, and a little side story. When I decided that this was the one I wanted, my brother Dan, who he visits quite a lot from Oregon, he said to me, he's like, you just always have to one up me, don't you? And then he told me, he's like, when you get that PS5, he's like, make sure you send me the face plates. And I was like, no, like the face plates are mine. And the fun fact about this is that these were limited edition. You can buy the faceplates still. Like I'm going to be showing you guys here in a little bit an Amazon link where you can find them. I'll make sure I put that link in the description. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But this was a limited edition Spider-Man 2 PS5 because there was a big hype around it because we had waited for years for the second Spider-Man, especially with how it ended. The first game ended. So, is this thing easy to clean? Yes and no. As you can tell, I have a lot of dog fur that just kind of gets into it. And the state I live in, especially the city I live in, gets in the home that I currently reside in. That's a lot of different random sentences. It gets really dusty. That's what I'm trying to get at. The state of Utah, it was a desert, and it gets very dusty, and so I'm constantly having to clean this thing. And that's not necessarily a major drawback because, you have to do that with computers. You have to do that with everything electronic that you own. You have to, you need to be able to clean them and make sure they are dust-free because dust and debris get in there. And this is evidence that dust and debris can get in there. I love the fact that you can just see so much about this, but there's a lot of things that I like about this, and there are some things I don't like about this. So let's start with the negative and we'll go to the positive. So the things I don't like about this, I don't like how heavy it is. Granted, I know this is the disc version. I know people in the comments are like, oh, you could have gotten the discless version. That's true. I could have gotten a discless version of the PS5. But I also wanted to be able to have that capability of putting discs in my CD in the CD drive. And so in retrospect, the PS5 discless version would have not been the greatest for me because I personally still use discs from time to time. And so I love this. And I also don't like the fact that It took me a long time. It took me a little bit to figure out how to put this stand on, because I mean, I was at the time when I bought this, I was like, how do I get this on? Like, I remember reading the instructions like for a good 5-10 minutes on how to put this thing on, and I was like, it's not going on. Like, I was throwing the biggest, I was getting a little frustrated, all because of this guy, this screw that I showed you guys earlier. And I didn't know where to put the ends right there. But then once I figured it out, I was like, okay, I'm just a little incoherent, apparently. But, you know, that it was, once I figured it out, it's easy to install and I was okay with it. But let's talk about some other things I don't like about the PS5. Because fun fact, before I had this, I'm going to set this over here. Before I bought the PS5, I was a big Xbox guy. Like, you know, I was your classic Xbox guy who played Halo. I played Red Dead Redemption. I played all those kind of things. But one thing that I remember when I bought the PS5 was that I thought, oh, well, I don't have access to some of my games that I had bought on my Xbox. And so that was a bit of a drawback for me, because I thought, man, I have to buy Red Dead again. I have to do this. I have to do that. But were those deal breakers? No, because this thing in itself, I love this controller so much, because, you know, I'm a comic book nerd. If anyone who knows me knows that I'm a nerd when it comes to like comic books and superheroes. Like, I'm all about that stuff. Like, I just think it's the greatest thing. I've loved superheroes and comic books ever since I was a kid. But that was a drawback for me, is that I couldn't download, like, you know, the games I had on my Xbox onto my PS5. Now, a little fun fact, a lot more Xbox exclusives are actually coming to the PlayStation Network. You know, Xbox in itself is trying to expand its horizons and become more of an inclusive kind of company. And so a lot more games that were Xbox originals are coming to the PlayStation Network, which I'm excited for. I'm not gonna lie, I would love to play Halo with this, because I think that would be really fun. But let's talk about a few other disadvantages I don't like about it. I don't like that the battery in the PlayStation 5 controller doesn't last the longest. I feel like the technology could be better. It really kind of bothers me that it doesn't stay charged long enough. And there's another issue that I want to bring up. And then Sony, if you're watching this, this is something you need to fix. So I'm trying to always keep my PlayStation up to date. You know, I updated it last week, and I still get these messages on my PlayStation saying that it's out of date. And so I go into the settings, and it says everything's up to date. So that's a bug in the system for the PlayStation 5. And so Sony needs to fix that. You know, obviously, look, I'm a tech enthusiast. I know that nothing's going to be perfect. There's always going to be flaws. I mean, even with the Xbox, you know, the Xbox 360 is a great example. Red Rings of Death. Everybody remembers the Red Rings of Death, and how if you got the Red Rings of Death, you were just so upset. But honestly, the negatives, I mean, the positives far outweigh the negatives. I love the fact that this controller feels so smooth. You know, and the PS5 interface, like when I turn it on, it's very user-friendly. I also like the fact that you have password protected, so that if someone is wanting to play your games, you have to type in a passcode that you've set personally. And a little funny story, every time when my brother has come to visit, he's always like, hey, what's your passcode? Just tell me your passcode. I was like, I'm not telling you my passcode. Like, this is my passcode. And so it's just really interesting how, you know how siblings are. They just like to mess with you and everything. But I also like the fact that, like, you know, the buttons are really good. They're very, you know, user-friendly. They have a lot of good feel to them. I like the fact that it's a clear plastic right here. These buttons are just so nice. And again, I got to go back to that design. I like the Spider-Man 2 design. You know, you have the the symbiote that's kind of overtaking the controller, and is even doing the same with this guy. Let me grab him. He's taking over the system. I just think that was so cool. And then on the back you have the black and white Spider-Man logo for it, and he does have the symbiote suit on. But some other aspects of it that I like is that one cool aspect that I like, and this is a fun fact, that when you buy a new PS5, and let's say if you're an Apple enthusiast and you use Apple Music, you can actually get 6 months free. That was something I didn't really know until I saw my brother do that with his PS5, and I had forgotten about it. And then I thought, oh yeah, I can get Apple Music, and then you can sync that with your phone, which is great. And then some other things I love about it. I love the fact that there are the PS5 exclusives. Like, look, there's a lot of people. I've seen a lot of people online that have thrown fits. They're like, oh, well, I want to be able to play Spider-Man 2 on my Xbox. Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be cool. But Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man, and so that's never going to happen. And so I like that there are some exclusives on PS5. And some people in the comments will probably say, like, oh, well, I think it's stupid that there's exclusives on every system. Yeah, well, that's just how it is. You know, that's how a lot of companies make their money. I hate to break it to you, but that's how a lot of companies make their money. But I like the fact that, you know, with the PS5, this guy right here, even though he's really big, it's very easy to transport. And I like the fact that, like, you know, when it comes to putting it back in the box, which is what I always put it in if I take it somewhere, which I have yet to do because I'm very protective of my PS5. I like the fact that it goes back into the box so easily. I know there's a lot of electronics that once you build the tech products or the electronic products and you put them together, they don't really go back into their original packaging very easily. And I like the fact that they do that. And another thing I thoroughly enjoy is that is this thing. It's the charging cord. The fact that I can charge my controller and don't have to worry about saying like, oh, I gotta go plug in my batteries so I can recharge them, because they're already in this. This is something that PlayStation has been doing for a little while now, but I like the fact that you can literally, you can literally just plug it in, put it on rest mode, and it will charge within at least 10 to 24 hours. You know, and I think that that's a very impressive thing. There's so much about this that I love. I love the fact that gaming systems are advancing. You know, the fact that, you know, they put on all this detail on the controller, on the PS5 that's sitting over there. I love the fact that they try to give the consumers what they want. You know, there's a lot that I could go into, especially like about all these Xbox exclusives that are going to be coming actually to PlayStation. You know, there's one, as I mentioned earlier, that a lot of people are hoping comes to PlayStation, and that's Halo. Because I grew up playing Halo. I would have Halo nights with buddies, with my brother, with so many people, and hopefully in the future it'll come. And if it doesn't, hey, that's fine, because I do plan on buying an Xbox for different games that I have. But with that being said, guys, I want to bring up these faceplates that I mentioned to you before that you can buy on Amazon. And again, I will put these in the description. I'll put this link in the description. So this is the faceplate, the PS5 disc edition. The Now Skin Superhero Spider-Man 2 plates for PS5 consoles, cover plates. Premium ABS faceplate shell covers for PlayStation 5 cover plate disc edition. Now, a lot of people would say like, oh, well, I don't know if I really want that. Honestly, like, I think it's great. Personally, like, I'm a big fan of it. Like, I know some people don't like it, but I love the fact that, you know, you can go right here. You can see how they just kind of show it off. They show how cool and sleek it looks. And I love the fact that they show it in detail, because a little known fact that you guys may not know. Let me bring this back full circle. When this PS5 came out, you could, for those who already had a PS5 and who didn't really want to spend another, like, you know, $700 or so on a new PS5, you could buy the faceplates. for your current PS5, you know, like, but the problem was those sold out very fast. And then I noticed on the Facebook Marketplace, people were trying to sell them for a higher, they were for an upcharge. You know, these things were probably between, I want to say they were between 50 to 100 bucks, and people were selling them for twice as much. And I could be wrong on that pricing when that first came out, but people were selling them for twice as much as the original cost, because they knew that someone, whether it be on Facebook or on eBay, on whatever, you know, for sale website they were using, that someone would pay that because they wanted the faceplates. But knowing that you can now come over here to Amazon and get this for $43.99 actually right now, which is actually a really good deal. It's really cool. I love the fact that you can even get, like, you know, different faceplates. It's shock proof, it's dual proof, scratch resistant, which is very helpful because, again, I have a dog. And I love the fact that replacements, that there's so many different kind of face replacements with white to gray camouflage. I just think this is such a cool thing for them to do. You know, Now Skins is a very good quality. They make very good quality products. I've seen some of their products before, and honestly, this is just a great way, especially like if you're a comic book nerd like me. This right here can help show off how much of a comic book nerd you are, because I love Spider-Man. I grew up watching the Spider-Man cartoons. I grew up with the Spider-Man movies, the comic books, the action figures, everything Spider-Man. He was my go-to Marvel superhero. But on that note, I want to bring this full circle. On that note, I will see you in the next video. And make sure you check out the link below for these various Now Skins that you can get. And make sure you tell me what your thoughts on it are in the comments below. And again, I will see you in the next video. Take care.